Hello and welcome back to the Data Privacy Lawyer. My name is Funmi Owolabi and I'm the principal attorney at the firm. Today's review, we're going to be looking at AI terms of use. So you do privacy, why talking about AI? We're talking about AI because there is a overlap in how artificial intelligence being rolled out with businesses implicates your privacy program. Now, not every organization is using AI, but many are talking about using AI. So it's really important for you to understand how it implicates your current privacy program. I would say that most businesses now do have some type of privacy program, whether it's the external facing privacy program component or it's a contractual negotiation. There is an influence of data protection on, I would say, every organization at this point. However, artificial intelligence is more new. There's a lot of gaps currently from geography to geography on obligations from a legal perspective. However, the legislation that we do have specifically in the United States does hinge upon data protection considerations, which is why we're talking about it on the channel. So these terms of use are by Delta. Anybody that is not in the United States, Delta is an airline organization. Now, one thing I like to say a lot on all of my reviews is the fact that personal data touches upon every single industry. In every single industry, companies must use personal data in order to provide their products and service. Now, the service here is the airline flight, the flight to and from. So when I think about that, I have some insight into some of the personal data identifiers. I am very intrigued on how AI is being utilized at Delta. There's one thing that I have seen definitely, I think at the end of 2025, some of these airlines were scanning. They had like barriers that would scan your face to identify you before you got on the plane. And they had fewer and fewer people at the front desk that would assist with this process. Now, I am intrigued, and we're going to review this together. This is the first time I'm seeing these terms, but I'm intrigued in whether the direction for some of these airline organizations is to have this be an automated process where there are no people at the front assisting with checking you into the flight and allowing you to board. Okay, let's just keep looking. This was last updated last year, exactly 1 year actually, because this video comes out in April. But let's take a look at these features they're talking about. These AI terms of service apply when you access and use the generative AI tools and features such as chatbots and AI-powered search, reservation interactive voice response and messaging, and other technology that Delta Airlines makes available with the website and mobile apps. Let's talk about this specifically. I think something that would be valuable for the channel is to really start exploring the features of the site to ensure that the representations that are being made by organizations on their site as we interact with it align with the flow associated with their terms of service. Is it in fact true that how we use the AI features on the website align with what is being dictated in the terms of use here? I think something that's very interesting is we've got the URL itself says AI terms of use. And then we've got the document itself saying terms of service. Now, I wonder why there is a distinction here, but that would definitely be something I would query if I was their privacy attorney, because sometimes these are separate documents. So what would be the distinction? That would be a question I have in my mind, because it may be they're actually, let me click it. Wow, that's so interesting, right? I just clicked terms of use and we've got terms of use now. And if we go back to what we were reviewing before, this is the AI terms of use, but it says AI terms of service. Now, why am I harping so much on this definition? I think there should always be consistency in what the documentation is. Is this truly the terms of the service, or is this the terms of being able to use it? I guess there just needs to be a consolidation and a consistency in the URL and what the actual terms are, so that customers don't get confused. I think something that's valuable for businesses to know about what us lawyers do is we always look at audience. Audience is really important. There's certain documentation that is for the audience of other lawyers. There is certain documentation that is for the audience of our customers, like non-legal personnel. There is documentation that is for an audience of children. Every single documentation that is distributed by an organization needs to address its audience. I think that's why consistency is so important when drafting documents that are publicly available on the internet, so that users don't get confused and know which document applies to them. Okay, let's get into the AI piece. I've talked a lot about this. Having definitions of what different terminology means is very, very key. And this goes back into the piece about audience. And this is why I think it's valuable for businesses to have lawyers that are able to assist them, because there's a term in the privacy space, it's called being transparent. If you are drafting a document on your public-facing website that is for an audience of people using your flights, obtaining products related to your flights, generally those people are not going to be a legal audience. Now, I am a lawyer and I have flown Delta, but I am not the only person that flies Delta, and I'm pretty sure everybody that's flying Delta is not a lawyer. They don't understand every single terminology. Most people don't understand what constitutes a prompt or what might constitute feedback for your organization. So having definitions is really important. And I think I've done reviews on this channel in the past that outline the importance of a definition, because some of these new AI terms are drafted in such a legal manner that the audience may not be able to ingest that. And I want to say something else that has been coming up pretty frequently in the United States. A lot of regulators that are issuing enforcement actions against businesses have talked a lot about businesses not acknowledging an audience of children in some of their products, even though the business understands that children may constitute a group of customers. And that's really valuable to note. And one of the things I want to do on this channel in 2026 is I want us to look at some of the actions that are being filed by attorney generals in the United States. And we're going to pull apart why an enforcement action might have been issued by a regulator and how it impacts these public-facing documents. And that's why I do these videos, because a regulator generally will pull information based on a representation that a business makes on its website. Now, that's not the only exclusive factor that is putting some of these businesses in a precarious situation, but it is very influential. And I think businesses should know that. Privacy is not just for large organizations, it's for every organization, because every organization uses personal data. Let's get into the AI piece. Delta may use your content and related information and may do so through automated or manual human review and through their third-party vendors, in some instances, to provide, maintain, and improve the service, AI tools, and our other services and features, including to train artificial intelligence models and machine learning algorithms. Now, why is this valuable? I don't know if these AI terms are being targeted to an enterprise audience. Now, why am I saying that? An enterprise audience would be another business, right? Let me scroll up to the top and see if they identify that. So that's not really clear here. It could be that these AI tools are for a consumer audience like myself when I book a flight, but it may also be that these AI terms are for an enterprise organization. Let's say that, I don't know this for a fact, but maybe Delta has a platform or portal that enterprise customers, like another organization that books flights through Delta, has access to. The reason why I've highlighted this sentence about using the information or content to train their artificial intelligence models is, if you're an enterprise organization and you're uploading your employees' information to book flights through Delta, you may not feel comfortable with your content and related information being used to train Delta's artificial intelligence models, which is why a part of every privacy program should have something called due diligence. Always conduct your due diligence, because you need to know what it is you're signing up for. Are you, as an enterprise organization, okay with your content being used to train their AI model? Now, what does this mean? Maybe you might want to obtain additional information in what this training looks like. How are you, as an organization, going to fulfill a data subject access request if your employee reaches out to you and says, hey, I want you to delete all of my information that you've processed? If you've allowed your vendor to train using content associated with that employee, how are you going to be able to trace that to ask them to delete it? Right, these are questions businesses should be asking, because it's very important. All right, so I really hope you enjoyed this review. I really enjoy reading these terms. I really hope you find value in me breaking these down. If you have any comments about what I've stated, leave a comment below and I'll see you in another review.